Welcome to another discussion on the basics of AutoCAD. So for today's activity, we will discuss first the difference between a polyline and a line. So to start, a line is created by typing its command, which is L, enter, and then it will ask for your points. So your first point, for example, is here, and your second point is here. And then as you observe, it will ask again for another point. So it means that this will continue the command. So if you click to another point, you created another line and so on. And then when you escape, as you can see, we created three different lines. So if you click these lines, as you can see, it is uh, separated between each other. So we have here three different objects or three different lines. Polyline now, however, is different. So if you type in polyline, the command is polyline, or just simply type PL. So that is the shortcut for polyline. So PL, enter. Now, the command is the same as the line. It needs to start at a certain point. So for example, I will start here, and then my next point, same as line, it will ask for the next point here, and then I create another line. So as you can see, the same as the line command, wherein after making a line, it will ask for another point, excuse me, so that no, the line will continue. So let's continue this line, and then escape. So as you can see, this is the same as what we did earlier. We have three different lines, but if you select one line, it will also select the other two lines. So it means that we created one object. So meaning a polyline is a continuous line, different from the line command. Okay. So with that, when you select a polyline, it will highlight or it will select all of the lines that were included during that uh, process. Okay. So now the next thing is we can direct the direction of the line and its length, okay, using bearings. We call this one bearings. So I have here already prepared the bearings. So usually we can find these bearings in a lot title, meaning the boundaries or measurements of a certain lot. So you have here uh, the technical description. You have the line, meaning you have points wherein line number one is from point 1 to point 2, and then its bearing now or its direction is this one. So you have here the direction, you have north, and then you have here the degrees, minutes, and another direction. So you have here north 20 degrees 33 minutes east, and then the distance. So with this direction, we can redirect our lines so that it will be facing this direction with this distance. So how do we do this one? To do this simply, we just need to use the polyline command. So again, to start, type in the PL command. PL, enter. Now, it will ask for the starting point. So we will start from this point. Now, this is our starting point, and then it will ask for the next point. So instead of selecting a point here around the drawing area, what we will do is that we will type in the directions and then the distance. Okay, so how do we do this one? So simply type again. So let's start from the polyline command. So PL, enter. So click this one as a starting point, click, and then the next point will be just we're just going to type it. So you will start with at, meaning the distance. So at The first line is from point 1 to 2. The distance is 1.88 meters. So 1.88 meters. And then do not enter yet. Instead, place the angle icon or the less than uh, icon, which is this one. And then now, type in the bearing. So you will start with letter N, and then the next one is the degree. So 20 degrees or 20 D. And then the minutes now is 33 minutes, and then that would be one apostrophe, and then the next direction, which is east. East, enter. So as you zoom in, this is where the next point is. So this is equivalent to point 2. Okay? So don't cut the command yet. So as you can see, it will ask for another point, meaning what is the next direction. So we are done with points 1 to 2. So next is we are going to do the points 2 to 3, or meaning line 2 to 3. So what we need is the point number 3, because we already have point 1 and point 2. So as you observe, I did not cut or escape the polyline command yet. No? So I will just continue directing the line. So the next line will be at 15.95 degrees. So I will just type continuously at 15.95, and then the next is the lesser than angle icon, which is this one. This represents the angle, okay? And then type the bearing. So points 2 to 3 is north and 36 degrees or 36D, and then 15 minutes, 15, one apostrophe, and then east, enter. So this is now my point number 3. So this is my line 2 to 3, okay, this point. Now the next one is to locate point number 4. Point number 4 is 23.74 meters, and then this is the direction. North, 37 degrees, 33 minutes east. So again, do not cut or do not stop the polyline command. So what you will do is just simply type the next direction. So I will locate now point number 4. So what I need to type is the distance first. So at sign 23.74, and then the less than angle symbol, which is this one, and then the direction. So that is north 37 degrees. So N 37D 33 minutes. So 33, one apostrophe, and then east, enter. Okay, so I already have my point number 4. So what's next is point number 5. So continue at 16.96, and then the angle, and then the bearing. So north 37 degrees 83, oh no, that is only 8 minutes east, enter. So what's next? Point number 6. So point number 6 now is 7.97. So at 7.97, and then the angle north 61 degrees 7 minutes east, enter. So next is point number 7. So at 28.44, then the angle south 30 degrees 36 minutes east. Enter. So what's next is point number 8. So which is this one. So at 60.38, and then the angle is south 55 degrees 16 minutes west. Enter. Okay, so the last one, no, you have here points 8 to 1. So meaning your last point will be from the last point, which is, your last line will be from the last point. It will go back to point number 1. Okay, which is this one. This was our point number 1, the very first point that we placed. Now, instead of just joining this line from this point to this point, what we need to do is to type this one first, no? To double check. Okay, if it really goes to this direction. Okay, so now for the last line, you have here at, this is from 8 to 1. So this is point number 8 going back to point number 1. So let's try to double check if it really goes to this direction. So type now the distance. So at, the distance is 10.45, and then the angle and then the direction is north 39 degrees 27 minutes west. Enter. So as you can see, it goes back to the original point. Now, if you look closely, however, these 2 points doesn't meet. So with this discrepancy, it's okay, because with these bearings, it does not give you an accurate shape, no? But rather there are small discrepancies just like this one. So if you will see discrepancies just like this one, no, that is okay. So what we need to do is just to connect these 2 points. So I will click this endpoint, and then I will connect to this point. We need to close the entire line so that there will be no gap in between lines. So with this, no, it is already closed. So the whole boundary now is now closed. Okay, it's very important for the next command that the whole boundary must be closed, no holes. Okay, so again, since we are using polyline, if you click one line or one side of this shape, it will select the whole boundaries, meaning all of them are joined together as one object. Okay, now we need to place points with these boundaries. Okay, so we will now so we can determine which is point 1 up to with the point 8. So what we need to place is points. Okay, so how do we place points? So the command for point is PO. Okay, so either you can type the whole word point, or you can just type PO, enter. And then it will ask you to just specify a point. So you can click anywhere. So that is 1 point, and this is 1 point, and so on. Okay, so this is just a point. Now, if we place a point here in our boundary, so we place a point here, we place a point here, we place a point here, place the endpoints, and then after, we can already see when we select the area, it contains points. But we cannot see it clearly because it is being overlapped by the line. So with this, we need to change the design or the symbol of our point. So how do we change this one? Simply type DDP type. That is the command. So DDP type, and then press enter. So you have here the point size, and then you have two options, which I discuss later. And then you have here now the designs on which you can choose, how you will you select, or I mean, what design should your point be. So let's try this one. So I will select this one and click OK. So as you can see, my points became different from the previous design. But if you click any side of this symbol, no, it will give you just one object, meaning this is just one point. No, the design just changes. No, even though you can see that the design of the point is now composed of lines plus a circle, but if you click one side, any side of that certain symbol or icon, no, that is just one point or one object. Okay, so this time, no, if you try to zoom in or zoom out and then refresh your uh, drawing area, so to refresh the drawing area, simply type RE. That is to regenerate, meaning refresh. RE, enter. Now, as you can see, as I zoom in and zoom out, the size of my points also changes. Now, it adjusts depending on the size of the screen. So how do I select that my points will stay as is? So go back to the DDP type, enter. So you now have these two options. So the first one is set size relative to screen. And then the other one is set size in absolute units. So as you observed earlier, as you zoom in and zoom out, and then you refresh or regenerate your drawing area, the size of the points will also change because you selected the first option, which is set size relative to screen, meaning the size of the points will adjust depending the size of the screen. However, if you click this one, the second option, set size in absolute units, meaning it will stay as is depending on the size that you place here, the point size. So for example, let's use this 5. Okay, and then click OK. So you have here, this is the 5 units, no, of the point. So as you zoom in and zoom out, zoom in and regenerate, zoom in, regenerate, zoom out, and then refresh, the point size will not change, okay, because you selected the second command. So let's try to make the point smaller because this is quite big. So again, DDP type, enter, and then the point size, let's change this one to 1. Okay, so now you can see it became smaller, but as you go uh, farther away and then regenerate your drawing area, RE, enter, now the size of the points will not change because we selected this one, in absolute units. So it will depend on the value that is being placed here. Okay, so now this is quite complete already. So we have the boundaries plus we have the points. So the next thing to do is to place a line type on this one. So let's go back to our layers, LA, layers, enter. Now we will add another layer. So create another layer. This time, let's name this one boundaries. Uh, Boundary line. And then the color will be green. So meaning since this is green, the size of the pen is 0.5. And then for its line type, uh, we will load another line type. This time we will select this phantom. Okay, so phantom now is composed of a line and then two broken lines and then a line again. So this is called the phantom. Add and then select the phantom. Okay, so as you can see, this is just the same as the template or the layers that we created during the previous exercises. So you have your continuous line and you have the hidden line, And for the boundary line, we have this phantom. And then the thickness is 0.5 and the color is green. So select the boundary, click this one, and make this into the boundary layer. So as you can see now, it displays the line type. Okay. Now, for our points, let's make this one into 0.3. And then match this one with other points so that they will be the same. Okay. So now, the next command is hatch. No, we need to hatch this. We need to place a symbol inside. Okay, so now the next command is hatch. So what is hatch? So type in hatch, enter. So you have here the symbol, so the pattern, and then this one is the angle, then this one is the size of the pattern. So for example, so select the pattern, so go to the hatches, and then it will give you different patterns. For example, so for example, we will choose this excuse me, bricks. So let's try to look for patterns that is showing a brick-like pattern. Let's say this one. Okay, and then now, if you selected this one, as you can see, pick internal point. So meaning select a boundary, in which you are going to place this certain pattern. So for example, we need to place it here. So click this one. So as you can see, it gives you, or it fills the boundaries inside with this kind of pattern. So now, what we need to do is to adjust this one. This is quite too big for, if it's quite too big, for example, to change this one, you just simply click the pattern or the hatch, and then this one here is the angle, meaning the direction of the pattern. So the default one is 0. So this is the default orientation of the pattern. So as you can see, it is oriented horizontally. So if we place an angle here, 45, enter. So as you can see, the pattern direction also changes. Okay, so it goes the same for the other patterns. So the other one, however, is the size of the pattern. So one, that is the default size. So if you want to make this one smaller, just change the value. So let's say 0.5, so half of this size. So 0.5, enter. So as you can see, it becomes smaller. Okay, so it's important when using hatch pattern that the entire boundary must be closed, because if this boundary is not closed, for example, no, there is a small gap in between. So for example, I will create a different boundary. For example, this one. No? So if you look from a far distance, no, this is a connected or a shape. No? And then, but if you look inside, no, there are some times that, no, if you if you look far, the lines are connected with each other. But when you hatch, it will not hatch. Okay. For example, okay, uh, this one, no? Let's try to find. Oh, hatch gapon. Even though, let's make this one bigger. Shallow. This one. So hatch. So as you can see, excuse me, no, it cannot place the pattern simply because there are still gaps in between. Okay, so make sure when you use the hatch command, all of the boundaries must be connected with each other. Okay, so again, just follow the bearings and the distance so that the lines will be connected. Okay, so this is the activity for the polyline and the bearings.